Well, welcome to my world. It's Wednesdays. It's what's happening socially in our communities. And my name is Colleen Liz Frost, and we have to have one day a week to figure out what's happening in our communities. So today, it's not the whole story of what's happening in PERHAM, but I'm just going to give you a quick rundown on how we do talk about what's happening in our community. And this is Harry Miller, and he's a very important person in my plays. And I just wanted you to know that he is going to be very much a part of our story. So I have to keep him with us. I am a tent master. I am setting up my own road show. It's a circus, isn't it? Life is a circus. And I have been setting up my business plan like my mother did and her Uncle Bobby. It's called the Omar Tent Theory of Management. And what better to run a business than like a circus? And if someday I hope you research the history of a circus, because it is quite exciting. And my twin brother and I own an opera house in Staples, Minnesota. And in 1911, the circus did come to our opera house. And I can't wait to tell you the story about that. So welcome to my world. Come on in. And I will set him down here. And as a tent master, it is kind of fun to assume that role. And I'm having so much fun. Anyway, I want to read a quote to you. A true community is not just about being graphically close to someone or part of the same social network. It's about feeling connected and responsible for what happens. Humanity is our ultimate community, and everyone plays a crucial role. This is what's happening on Wednesday. And I am your coach. I'm Coach Colleen Liz Frost, and I was raised on the 7 days of balance and living life on purpose. If you are traveling on this internet, I hope you rest here a while and make these 7 days become your traveler's rest. We are in Studio C. It's my sanctuary, the place here in my parents' home where I go to write. I'm a caregiver for my dad. He's 93, and these get to be some long days, but it is such a joy to know I can end up here with you. I am your head coach, and I'm on a mission while in remission. Celebrating history and creating more. This is going to be something good, I promised. And what's happening, it's all about our community. It can be like what's on sale. And in our town today, it was Turtle Days. Yes, on Wednesday, this is definitely what's happening in our town of PERHAM. You know, I love being a mother at all ages. My son is now 21. But when he was born, I, of course, picked out a very much planned on purpose stroller. It was animal print, jungle print, if I might be more specific. You'll probably be seeing this. I'll have to take Harry out in that stroller. Of course I will. And what was happening back then, I would go uptown for no reason with this stroller, as young mothers do. And my mother could never understand car seats. I told her that this is a mandatory thing now. And she says, honey girl, you're going to leave that car seat in the car. I said, absolutely. It's way too heavy. And she said, you know, and when you take the stroller uptown, leave it on the street. Don't take those big clunking strollers in the stores. I said, well, of course not. And she said, there is no better gift because you're so young for such a short period of time that when and my mother had twins. She said, when I took you into the store, she said, she always had Carmen with her, but we took you eye to eye. So when you could go into the store, you could see everything, and I could see your eyes and hold you, and you could see the world eye to eye. And that's where I get the eye to eye. So I hope that that is a tip for you when you come to PERHAM. Bring your children and put them on your arm and really explore our stores, because there is a lot of rare people, places, and voices up and down our main street, and their stores are magical. And that's what it was for my son and I. And I did that when he was young, a baby and newborn. And I went up and down those streets, and I took him in there from the day one. And I went up and down inside, and I oohed and ahed over all the little shelves. And he was very young. And by the time he was 6, I decided it was time for him to start on his own. We picked out one shop just a few blocks down a straight road, across kind of a busy highway on the main street, to our gas station called the Holiday Gas Station. And there was a man there, his name was Kim. And Kim and I worked it out for the milk run. And Adam would go down the street to purchase the milk. And that's where he would start first to build community. To teach our kids how to shop local starts with teaching them how to do it. And I suggest get these kids out and have them start running tasks like we were raised. And so he started with Kim, and it was the milk and eggs and so forth. And boy, he thought he was approaching 30 years old. He had his change in his billfold and his making change and how to greet him, how to say thank you, how to visit with 1 or 2 questions, and then to come home with the full report. And it was probably the most exciting time because he had watched us do it from the stroller on up to 6. And on we went in Perm, and I was preparing him with this little circuit training, because you have to remember, I am a jock. So everything for me was this little pod training. And he would go up the street, and oh boy, eventually he made it to the next shop. And of course, that was our flower shop, Ma's Little Red Barn. This was a very strategic move on my part, as roses, as most of you know, the cabbage rose is my favorite flower. So boy, he would, when it was time for him to think about his own humanity, and when he wanted to do something special for Mom, he would go into his little saving tin, and he would surprise me by going to Ma's Little Red Barn and bring me back a rose. So that was his next little journey. And then he made it to the next place, and that was to Bridget's Main Frames. Now, this shop would be my ultimate favorite place, because this is where all the artists house their galleries. It's an art gallery and then a framing shop. And when you live in a small rural town like I do, it is really fun to have your own art gallery, because this is where all the creatives come to host their items. And they can be jewelry artists, pottery, collage artists, painting, photography. And I wasn't a big investor in the art, but oh boy, at night when we walked by her windows, I could teach him so many lessons about those artists. And it was a magical window on our main street. And when it was time for who to get a little present, or Grandma, or Auntie Carmen, or Chris, or someone in need. And for me, with our cancer journey, which I was in, it seems like forever. When you're in remission, you are always on a cancer journey. So we had lots of friends that needed a prayer pouch or a worry stone, and it was Bridget's that we would go. So this, to me, was how we started to program our children into the first thought is buying locally, shopping locally. But it wasn't just for the experience of finding the unique art item or the flower or the gallon of milk. It was for the people that you meet, the community that you build. So that when life deals you a raw deck, or if you are in need as a neighbor to neighbor, these are the people that show up. And that's how you build community. Anyway, so it starts young, though. I suggest to all of us to get our grandkids out there young. A true community is not just about being geographically close to someone or part of a same social network. It's about feeling connected and responsible for what happens. Humanity is our ultimate community, and everyone plays a crucial role. Each member of that main street provides a pulse for our community. And I guess the last 2 days that I've had to do these little outings to go to our hardware store where Matt works, Matt is one of my people, because if our Ace Hardware or Marks does not have what you need, you don't need it. But these places, like with my Matt, I had a question about parenting my son with the activity, and I could run in and ask him because they used to sell these particular items. And he just knows me. And he also knows my son since he's been young. This is what I mean. Resources of rare people. So yes, going up and down our main street to run errands in our community is a feeling of connection for me. And I wanted Adam to feel this connection too. But you need to start early. And with this COVID, the last 2 days, here's what I felt when I went into Bridget's, who's been there in my son's whole life. I just was so blessed that these people have survived COVID, and how lucky we are that they're all still there. So you see in our culture, on our main street, what's happening. The town was abuzz today. Our trolley that takes all our tourists was just, I noticed them going by twice. It is vibrant and I'm grateful, but I scurried home because it's, in my mind, it was still COVID, but it was really busy. So it is refreshing to see that the pulse is back, but also that our small community has survived for the most part, from what I know. So yes, growing up was important that I raised my son this way. I was able to go in to these local places yesterday, and it was a surprise and it was special. And when it was time for my son, when he was young, I wanted to remind him when he comes home this Friday that when I was young, growing up in New York Mills, which is 10 miles away, my parents sent us on those same errands. And we had a bike and we had baskets, and we were sent and taught how to talk socially, cordially, and ask good questions to our rare people. So we started young with those. And so today, when we're clicking on this Amazon.com for a computer cord that we couldn't have locally here, it was $7.49 or something. And I clicked and it took the card right away. And there was just no connection, and I know that we have to, purchase on Amazon.com some of these things because we're restricted with some of the inventories that we're not able to carry. But I hope that we all think local first with our needs. And how lucky we are to have the internet with so many things. But I really hope that we do start thinking about the value of being able to go in to see a Bridget, see a Maz, see a Kelly, see a Nadine, see a Andrea Dot Minis, see the Carvinens. I hope that we're able to, like Steve Richter, hello. So these are the people that I'm telling you are my people. And I just can't imagine, not having had the history of going up and down with that stroller, parking it, carrying my son in, and having my parents walk in there I took my mother in there with wheelchairs, shopping local. And so I hope this is helpful for what's happening. I want us to really go out into our communities this summer and explore the best that we can. I don't get to leave the house often because of my caregiving, but I'm anxious to hear what you're doing. Becoming a preservationist is my life's passion, and I am a head coach, and I'm building a digital home, how to live life on purpose 7 days a week. And I'm putting a lot of these rare people and places in this digital home. And actually, Harry Miller, that's a little bit of a code that I sent you today, because I'm going to be sneaking around Perm after hours, a snapshot of what I'm talking about here. And then this Friday I'm going to post my shoe event for the rowers, for my bowling. And it's been really busy because my son is coming home. And my prayer is that I can take him one of these nights up and down the streets of Perm, because he's been struggling in Minneapolis. He lives on Hennepin, and he wants so bad to build a community there, to be able to walk up and down the streets and to shop local and to meet his hardware store people, to find his mat. So this is what is sad, when we have disruptions and I don't understand it all, and I'm trying to learn and listen and to be invested in humanity. And but I do today value what we've worked so hard here for in Perm and Mills and Staples. These are community. I'll never forget at Ernie's. He built in Staples. He built a great big grocery store in our town of Staples, where my opera house is. And someone came in and they said, Ernie's pudding is 30 cents more than Wally World or Walmart or whatever it's called. I don't ever go there for some reason. That was a protest long ago. Well, anyway, and I looked that person square in the eye and I said, do you know who Al is? Al's our person. That person felt so bad when I got done with them that they went right over there and bought his pudding. And I said, don't you ever think that the 30 cents is not well-earned commission for that pudding after what he's done for our town of Staples. So I know that it's important to save money, but I also know what an event trip it is to drive to Fargo and how much money that costs us. So think about shopping local. I mean, I'm so adamant about this, but I also know how important it is to get things that we need on the different vehicles that we have. So just have a balance. That's what I'm trying to promote, is to have a balance, because when I saw the people that survived COVID here in our town, and then I see what's happening on Hennepin, my heart goes out to Hennepin to see those women that I met that were in business down there when my son first moved in, and now they're closed. And this cafe that was my dream cafe to take them to, they're no longer there. It's devastating. And my heart bleeds for that humanity that's gone because people's dreams were just broken. So cling to your humanity, support the people locally the best that you can. And anyway, so tell me, what's happening in your day today? How do you build community where you live? Do you send your kids uptown to meet your rare people, places, and voices? I want to engage and gather, and I will be reaching out. So let's gather and celebrate history and create more. And on behalf of my family, thank you for sharing your history and all your what's happenings with me. When I see the walls on the Facebook, it's just probably the most fun thing to see how vibrant my friends list is. I never really tuned in, to be honest, I think since I signed up, I really didn't know what it was all about. But now I'm really into it. I'm seeing how interesting you all are. And I'm just so thrilled to know that I have you on this wall. So thank you. And I'm sorry I didn't tune in, but I was busy. And I'm getting better. So my son is coming home Friday, and I hope to have time to share this community by walking up and down the main street with him. Oh, and we have to go to our local dentist. That's a very big priority, because he says, Mom, why would I get a dentist down here? She's my person. So he's got it down. And don't even talk to him about changing his family practitioner, doctor. So that's just not going to happen. But anyway, thanks for listening. I just absolutely love my town that I'm from. I love the town that my business is at. And I love the town I grew up in. Highway 10. It is the heart of Minnesota. So find your rocks, grab your ball, and build a team. Look for a feather. Hope is all around. So jump, bounce, and fly with me 7 days on purpose. I teach it, I preach it, and repeat it with the balance. Like, share, and remember, Wednesdays are for those who dare. Be avant-garde, be rare, and remember, sincerely, Coach Colleen, number 33.